Welcome to Horticulture, where a group of extension professionals and plant people talk about the business, production, and joy of planting seeds and helping them grow. Join us as we explore the culture of horticulture.
Well, greetings, horticulture members. So we're at that time of the year where everybody's schedules fill up and each of us tries to do either a solo episode or an episode with somebody else. And so hopefully, if this is the first one you're hearing of this, you'll enjoy this series of a little mixing it up a little bit. I think, not going to make any promises, but I think Alexis and Jessica are going to talk about some stuff as a duo. I think Ray might record something solo like this. Today it'll be just me. And so these won't be very long episodes, but we didn't want to leave you completely hanging during the holidays. And I would start by saying thank you all for listening. The growth of the podcast across time has been pretty, I'll say surprising. It's been steady growth. We're getting more listeners per episode now than we ever have. And it's just really, really cool to see people support this because it's really fun. I think I'll take the mantle of speaking for everyone on the podcast, but it's a little bit of an opportunity to have some conversations that are kind of what we all got into extension for in the first place, which was taking some concepts that are either boring or complicated or whatever and talking about them in these human settings, laughing together and learning together. And so I won't go too far down the gratitude rabbit hole. Thanksgiving is over after all, but I just do want to say thank you to everybody for listening and tuning in, making it our personal mission in 2026 to actually get some merch. I think we have the go ahead and get some of that. And I can't help but be a little retrospective. I don't tend to dwell too much on the past, but this time of year, I do like to think back on 2025 and what it brought and what it meant. And a couple of the episodes that I think, if you missed them or maybe you wanted to go back and listen to us talk again, I think a couple of the highlights for me, one of them was the maple syrup episode we did with John Duvall. He works down at EKU, but he also works with the Kentucky Maple Syrup Association. It was just really cool to connect with him and see how much that industry has grown. A number of years ago, we did an article about them for our newsletter, and it was kind of getting started. And to see the growth has been really, really impressive. Another one that I really enjoyed was talking with Zoe and Khalees, who were extension interns. I think they were in Mercer County at Jessica's office, but don't quote me on that. But to hear them talk a little bit about this public service mission and extension and working with kids and adults and teaching and learning, and it was just really gratifying to hear people who, at a different stage of their lives, they're from a different, era of time. I think they were it's still hard for me to adjust to people being born in the 2000s, but it's been going on for 25 years, so I guess I better get used to it. But hearing them talk about just how much they enjoyed that experience was really cool. Another one, actually, I think it might have been the week before that, we were on a roll, was the plant insect interactions one. We talked with Jonathan Larson. The most famous example of that, or the one that people tend to know about, is that monarch caterpillars eat milkweed, and they get the milkweed toxin inside of them, which makes them not very palatable to others, to people that would, or things that would want to eat them. I guess people could be the ones eating them. We talked a lot more about a lot more than that, and just thinking about this co-evolution and co-development of species and ecosystems across time was pretty cool. Another highlight on the novelty, absurd side of the spectrum, which is where I try to live my life, is the giant pumpkins, discussions of giant pumpkins with Joe Kuzman, who was really gracious to join us and share his experience of growing some giant pumpkins. And I've actually had a lot of conversations about giant pumpkins since then that I felt moderately more informed to join in on, talking about the cost of the individual seeds and all that kind of fun stuff. Had a couple of people ask me about growing giant pumpkins. I don't know if it was related to that episode or just, pumpkin passion going wild. Another couple of episodes, kind of a grouping of them that I thought was really good that you might want to go back and revisit was the farmer's market personality and garden personality episodes. So it was kind of each of us taking on, I think in some cases it was our actual personality. In some cases we were playing a role. We're creative types around here. And just talking about the different ways that your personality might shape, maybe you're more chaotic and expressive. And so you throw seeds everywhere and it's a, mess. Maybe you're more regimented. And so you have a very minimalist, straight lines, straight rows, something like that. And similarly with the farmer's market, it's this idea of knowing yourself, how yourself and how your strengths and weaknesses and tendencies fit within this practice of growing plants or selling plants. It's just at the heart of, I think, part of the heart of horticulture, of this interaction between us and plants and our communities and ourselves. And I just thought it was kind of fun, and it was a good interaction between the four of us talking about just our different experiences and paths to getting here to interacting with it. And then the last one I'll mention is we did do a this is a retrospective on a retrospective, but we talked about 100 episodes. And that just brings me back to the idea of being grateful for people listening, because we are now, 150 something episodes, maybe more. And I am appreciative of that. So that kind of is the recap portion. The other thing I wanted to do, I don't get a chance to write stuff that's just kind of reflexive and creative as much as I used to, as much as I used to, and perhaps would like to. And so I wanted to take this opportunity to do that. And in doing that, I wrote a little thing about, you guessed it, trees. And specifically this experience of walking around my neighborhood and seeing trees in the wintertime and some of the things that it made me think about. So I'll probably just end with the piece ending as it's written and fade out. So again, I'll just say thank you so much for your support. I think this is our, 20. I think this is our third year doing the podcast. We don't have any plans to stop. We want to keep bringing this to you all and keep sharing time together, recording our voices for you to listen to. If you do have ideas, please do reach out to us on email. It's just horticulturepodcast@gmail.com. We also have an Instagram page, but okay. I walk around my neighborhood and I look at all the trees. I can tell them all apart now, even when they've lost their leaves. I know where each one lives, and those that have been planted recently. Not all of them will make it, but some will. The big ones have made it, over and over, dodging lightning strikes and gusts of wind and overzealous, underqualified amateur arborists. Some could use some pruning, at least to my eye. It's either saw and blade now or shade and gravity later. The trees don't seem to mind, but a windshield or gutter might. When the leaves are on the trees, it looks like everything went to plan. Dispersed green helmets over obscured heads, tied down to the earth by trunks of differing dramas, movement, and interest. If the branches have not been cut, you may not even see the trunk. The green veil hides everything inside. Who knows what's going on in there? A perfect place to hide or sit or rest or think. As the last lingering leaves fall, a lost blunt hope against a sharp cold, the long thread is revealed. It stretches across many seasons of prevailing winds, lost leaders, enterprising side branches, or maybe just a prognosticating pruner. This retroactive vision is a story told by 1,000 points of intervention. It's a gestalt, a mural of change in the aggregate. These craggy, twisted winter souls I see before me now contrast jaggedly with perfect veneers of a vernal canopy. Their nonlinear structures are proof that the best laid plans are the plans that work out, and they rarely take the straightest path. In the winter, even trees can't hide their history. Cancel hair and makeup, bring the camera close and focus on the scars and wrinkles and the sleepy, piercing eyes at the heart of the thing. Spring will bring a fresh start, a scaffolded, viridescent reinvention, a new chapter of a long book. Big branches are twigs plus decades, and twigs tomorrow might someday soar in triumphant leadership. Or they may wither and die, a good idea in theory. But more likely, they'll play in the background, neither star nor martyr, a harmonic choir to a melodic greater good. But before buds of flower and leaf swell and spread, before they breathe and grow toward light and good air, before we sit in their shade against the harsh summer sun, I look at these fractal, ramified creatures, all their twists and turns, and remember how the raw and scarred and flawed and twisting may not really be pretty, but it is true, and that is beautiful.